Anyway, so looks like this meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Yes, we're live streaming. Okay, great. We are live. Welcome everyone to the Success Mastermind for Wednesday, the 11th of August, 2021. John Lavenia here with you. And whether you're tuning in live or watching the YouTube video from the beach or the lake or wherever you are right now, I'm excited to be here with you today. Instead of Glenn, Glenn is actually in Vegas. I think he's just arriving today, right? Glenn is our normal host on Wednesdays. And today he is there for the Star Trek convention.
Oh my God. That must be awesome.
And he's got the outfit, right? The uniform with the lapel pins.
Better take pictures and show them to us.
Yeah. And so he'll be hosting tonight. Just so you know, a little quick announcement. We do have tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern US time. We do have Networking Magic. You guys know Glenn is a master networker. He connects people and all that. And so live from Star Trek Central Home Base, Glenn Henderson tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So not sure what's going to happen. Maybe something good, maybe something bad. We'll find out. But it's going to be live from Vegas. So today, one other announcement real quick. Yesterday we had our e-commerce work group with Emma and Neil. So you can always catch the replays on the members site. They will be off next week. Both of them just at the same time and not together, but separately are going on holiday next week. So no e-commerce work group next week. So that will be off the calendar. What was that? That was Monday. That wasn't yesterday. My goodness, that was Monday. Okay. And then yesterday we had corporate curios with Ivier Barnabas, and you can catch the replay on that as well if you missed it. That is in your members site. But I did want to announce that there is no e-commerce work group next week. Also, we just finished, one more announcement. We just finished book study group, Integrity is Everything. Just ended, right? So the book that we're on now, which you can find the links for in the members site, or you can just go to Amazon. Okay, it's a classic by Raymond Hollywell, Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. Read the first couple of chapters, because Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going live with that. And I believe we're going to be reinstating Books for Britain, possibly a week from today. Okay, so I got to get with Mandy on that. And I don't see Mandy here right now, but that is, I think people are getting ready to get back to reading and all that. So what are we talking about today? So my friend Nida, who I haven't talked to in a little while, who's here with us live right now, brought up an idea about, well, I'll give it to you in my words, and then we can, bring Nida and everybody else out here and have a conversation about it. But the idea of whether we say yes or no to opportunities. And in some ways, I guess we could say the topic is valuing our time rather than disregarding our time, right? Which a lot of people, when they're not in a prosperous state of mind, right? They tend to value money above all else. What did George Bernard Shaw said? Lack of money is the root of all evil. Okay, so let's say that you're not in a prosperous mindset, you're in a deficit or poverty conscious sort of a condition. Then there's a lot of fixation of attention on the money, the recompense for any work that you could do, right, to go ahead and make money. So certainly there is what did Abraham Maslow talk about? His hierarchy of needs, right, from survival all the way into like self-actualization, and it was kind of like a pyramid of that. But that hierarchy, if you're low on having your needs met, right, then there's a lot of tendency to fixate attention on worldly stuff. Okay, but there's a resource which, unlike money, is limited, right? We can go make more money, but time, well, I mean, you can't deposit that, you can't grow it, you can't get compound interest on it. You have to spend it every day, however you choose, right? And hopefully you are choosing, and that's where I think we're going with this today. Choosing where we spend our time. Because look, there's lots of opportunities. If we're talking about business, okay, and making money, you can go do anything and make money, right? You can get a job, you could do a business, you can do multiple businesses, you could panhandle, right? There's lots of ways to get money, okay? But what is the opportunity cost for each of those modalities, right? Well, this this opportunity here, let's say starting a business, okay, like in the e-commerce world. So what is the opportunity cost of that? Well, I can measure that in terms of time and in terms of what else am I going to have to say no to in order to take this on? And of course, there's many different kinds of opportunities and there's many different costs. Again, we're not talking about financial costs right now. People will go ahead. Here's an interesting dichotomy. People will go ahead and put $500,000 on the table for a franchise because it costs them arguably, and this is, I guess, in the brochure anyway, but it costs them less time, or let's say this, less guesswork. Hey, you've got this system and it's got proof of concept, right? And people walk in and they buy the hamburgers, right? I don't have to think about this. Here, have $1 million so I don't have to think, okay? And so that's a financial opportunity cost, okay? But then what is the time commitment and the hiring and the firing, right? And all the other stuff. People don't want to work and, they'd rather sit home and watch TV and get a, public assistance and all the stuff that goes along with that, which is also part of the opportunity that you're buying for $1 million. So there's a cost to that in addition to the financial cost. I'm just focused on the time cost of that. And the other side of it is what am I going to say no to so I could say yes to this? I recently had this situation just a couple months ago, which I mentioned here in the session, and some of you recall perhaps me talking about this, where I got this call from this group that I do consulting with, and they were like, "John, we got this contract. It is you. It is perfect. It is money bath. It is everything, right? You gotta take this contract." And I was like, "Yeah, guys, the last thing I need is an opportunity. I'm running multiple businesses over here. I am a friggin' madman. And you know what? Right." And so they called again and again. And they twisted my arm. And how they twisted my arm was concession after concession. Right. So, well, I want that. All right, you got it. All right. Well, I'm gonna want that too. Well, you got it. Right. Basically gave me everything I want. And so I wound up taking the opportunity and said no to other stuff, right? That I'm just, there's only so much John to go around. Okay. Some of the things I can't or won't say no to are, my family, right? Because there's certain, we have certain balances in life. I have multiple hats that I wear. It's not, 100% John the businessman, although, right, when we have I guess if you were an outsider, like an ignorant bystander or something, you could look and say, my goodness, this guy's a workaholic. No, this guy's on purpose. Okay, but I have multiple purposes and multiple goals that fit within each of those roles. Okay, like Steve Covey talked about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We have roles and goals. What's my goal for the role of father, husband, businessman, right? Coach and mentor, right? Because I've got all these different roles that I play in my life. But the important thing, and the thing that I was reminded of today, actually, while I was in the gym, I was listening to an old audio program from a great marketing training guy, and he was talking about prosperity as a concept, right? Prosperity. Okay, so what is that? What is that? Well, it comes from, I think it's Greek. I'd have to look it up in the dictionary. Doing well. And in modern parlance, right? So prosperity, we tend to think of financially, right? Financial prosperity. Okay, but the state of prosperity has to do with you doing well. So if someone asks you, how are you doing? I don't know what your response might be. I can tell you what mine typically is, and it's a very deliberate one. How you doing, John? Oh, I'm healthy, rich, and grateful. Thanks. How are you? And sometimes I'll get a reaction from that because people expect something less, fine, okay, whatever. No, I'm healthy, rich, and grateful. And so with that, and with the acknowledgement of that, me acknowledging I am a prosperous person puts me into a state where I can make better decisions. If I'm remembering who I am, right, that I'm healthy, rich, and grateful, it puts me in a state where I can make better assessments of opportunities and the cost of those opportunities and whether or not I'm willing to participate. This came up when I was just talking sidebar with Nida, because she's got opportunities. She's attracting opportunities, and some of which she can go ahead and take a pass. Isn't it nice to be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna pass on that one? And who knows, maybe they come back to you and they say, oh, well, and you get this, and you get this, until you say yes, right? So I guess that could happen as well. But I don't know if you're dealing with a big corporation or whatever. I'm dealing with, smaller groups. But the decision is yours. So a prosperous person has options. They have the power of choice. The power of choice over which games they want to play. And we're going to play games. I already mentioned a few of them, right? I call them roles or different hats that we wear, right? Here's the game of parenting. Here's the game of business. Here's the game of et cetera, right? So which games do you want to play? Because before you're actually on the game field, right? Before you're blocking and tackling and throwing balls and everything and scoring goals and preventing the other team from scoring goals and doing whatever the game is, okay? There's the power of choice, whether or not you even want to be in that game. A prosperous person has options. I talk with people every day about their goals, okay, in my consulting work, and sometimes people are vague, and after hanging out with me a little while, they get less vague, they get unvague, they get more specific, okay. And one of the things we have to get specific about is what's the money for, right? So let's say you've got this business goal and you're looking to make money. Great, I like money. Good. Why do you like money? How much money? Now that we're not being vague anymore. Okay, great. So now we know how much money. What's the money for? What does that buy you? What does that buy you? Because money is just ink on paper. Right. In fact, it's worth less every day. So like, what's the money for? Money buys options. I remember having this cognition at a time when I didn't have a lot of money. And the cognition, the aha moment was, my goodness, it costs a lot to be broke. It costs a lot to be broke. Not only in terms of, here's I suppose, late fees on a credit card statement or something, interest, right? Now you're paying interest to the richest people in the world, and you're paying them interest, right? That sounds smart, doesn't it? So no, okay. But it also, in terms of what it costs you in terms of time, having not having options costs a lot, right? And so this could be a very profound and noble reason for you to say, you know what, the buck stops here. Okay, I'm going to be cause over money. I'm going to be cause over time. I'm going to get more done in less time. I'm going to reset my compass here, and I'm going to go ahead and look at what opportunities am I tackling. Am I barking up the wrong tree with this business, this job, this whatever it happens to be? Okay, so if it's not bearing fruit, okay, then and I don't see a path or like a logical next step. Now, if I've been out of integrity and I just haven't taken the right steps, well, look in the mirror to see who keeps showing up at the scene of the crime, right? But if it's like, if I'm barking up the wrong tree and I know it, okay, well, what can I do? Because my time, apparently, just based on how I've been choosing to spend it, is worth a lot less than I don't know, fill in the blank with your favorite billionaire or something, right? So where am I not leveraging my time? Because we all got the same 24 hours. And what if I was that person? What would they do? So think now of a role model when it comes to financial prosperity, let's say. Okay, great. What would they do? And you may not know exactly down to every little detail, but what would they do? There was a story, this was like 20 something years ago, where Donald Trump was being interviewed on a talk show, and someone asked him, what would you do if you had nothing and you had to start over today? What would you do? And he said, I'd probably join a network marketing company. And the crowd laughed. And he said, yeah, well, that's why I'm up here and you're sitting down there. So there's opportunities. There's ways to start from very low entry points and humble beginnings and whatever. But the point is that you've got an answer, right? The point is that you've chosen a path, you've set your course, and you've been decisive about that. And since we're talking about time and the wastage of time, the thing that has wasted the most time for me, looking back in retrospect, thinking, my goodness, I pissed away a bunch of time. Indecision. That is the sucker of time, the destroyer of lives, right? Indecision. So now think about a role model. Okay, when it comes to a person who's prosperous, right? Who has options in their life, who is cause over money and has power of choice over what games that they want to play, right? And think about them now. Do they seem decisive to you or indecisive? I'll tell you, that's one character trait. That's one character trait, which I can tell you, bet on it. Bet on it. That one you're going to find in every single person. I don't care who the prosperous example is. They are decisive, because the opposite of that is indecisive, and nothing's getting done. So here we are, hopefully, considering how prosperous are we really mentally, regardless of what it says in your bank account. Okay. And I know we've got some very able people here, financially able and able in many ways. Okay. But are you acknowledging that? When you ask yourself how you're doing, does something worth hearing come out of your brain? Because look, we could just as easily fixate our attention on what we don't want. In any game, there's going to be barriers. There's going to be opponents, right? There's going to be things that stop you from reaching that goal, right? Okay. Well, where are we fixating our attention, or where are we allowing it to be fixated? I'll tell you one way to definitely forget that you're cause and slip into the effect of everything and like victim society and all this. Go watch the news. Go watch the news and see how powerful you feel. That's by design, by the way, right? That's on purpose, right? For you to be a victim and to convince you that you are. We got to be very careful with what we allow into our mind. So let's induce this. Let's use some inductive reasoning and our thinking abilities and the mental faculty of will, and let's decide how we're doing right now. How are you doing? And then actually think about it, right? Not fine. How are you doing, right? In present time, regardless of this or that circumstances, these problems that need to be solved, regardless of all that, in present friggin' time, right now, how are you doing? And if we could be conscious of that, right? And there's better and worse, there's good and bad, there's all that stuff. But if we can just look, if we can observe, because you can't solve a problem if you can't confront the problem, right? So if we just look at, I've got a problem, okay, or you know what, I'm doing awesome, right? And look at, and here's why. Here's evidence to back that up. Okay, but when we look, what we validate expands. And so when we look, let's say, for example, at our problem, and we start expanding our thinking around that, we start finding what lies outside of that problem. Solutions. Oh my goodness, right? So here's the problem here. That means there's solutions over here. So we start seeing something bigger. We're expanding our view. We're surveying more of the scene. We're not fixating our attention just on the problem, because in addition to the problem, there's all these other possibilities, including you doing something about it. That's a possibility. Well, great. Here's a decision I could make right now, which may or may not solve this problem. But you know what? You miss every shot you don't take. Let's go ahead and take the shot. Now you've decided. Now you're in action. Now you've just made good use of your time, and now you can have your attention on other stuff. Right? This is how we get more time. We get stuff off our calendar. This is why done is my favorite 4-letter word. Done. Right? Now I've got more options. Now what am I going to go do? So yes, it may seem like, oh wow, this guy's really busy, and I am, but if you really look at it, he's really purposeful. I'm not saying I've arrived or anything, right? I definitely could use a bit more balance at times. Okay. So this is like my morning today is back to back meetings to back, six in a row. This is number 3. So I'm busy. Okay. But I love what I do. Love it. In fact, I was having, and then I'm going to shut up. Okay. But I was having this conversation with myself and also with my wife. I love what I do. Even when I'm dealing with problems, I looked and I said, you know what? I had a problem. The last 48 hours has been a bit tumultuous, which hopefully you don't recognize. You don't see it on my face, right? I mean, it's been a rough 48 hours. It's been some good stuff too, but we've had some issues. Okay. On business stuff. And so, and we've also had some major victories. So I can't just fixate on the, the problems, but it's easy to do that. Because, any half an idiot can be negative, right? You can grow weeds in the garden. You don't have to be a farmer, right? Just do nothing, right? You'll grow weeds. But I was looking at, these problems, right, that I got to deal with over the last couple of days. And I thought to myself, I just got in present time and I got conscious and I was like, well, would you like different problems? You want to go back to that job? No. I like these problems. These are fun problems. These are problems I know how to do something about. Yeah. Pick your problems. Man, I like my problems. And I experienced what? I experienced gratitude, healthy, rich, and grateful. I experienced gratitude in present time for the games that I've chosen to play in my life, which include barriers. All games do. Fantastic. Pick your problems. And so I got back into, a prosperous state, and I had to, right? Because I had scheduling, I had stuff that I had to get done, game face, let's get it going, right? No point sitting around. And, I took like 2 minutes to get back into, some objectivity, some present time awareness. And I remembered who I was and I crushed it, right? I did what I had to do, the task at hand. But there's a, who was it that said, this is actually a quote. This is actually a quote from Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. And I think it's paraphrasing a military guy. So it might have been Patton who said, there is no room for despair, or there was no use for despair on the battlefield, something like that. Okay, but then Arnold Schwarzenegger, who of course, the Terminator guy, in this movie, young John Connor, who was like a teenager or whatever in that version 3 of that movie, he was like getting all cranky and teary-eyed and everything else about his dead mother or whatever. And so the Terminator picked him up and he's like, you're right, you're useless, I picked the wrong guy, I shouldn't be here helping you. And so John Connor was like, screw you, you rotten machine, who the hell do you think you are? And so he got mad, right? And then the Terminator put him down. Arnold puts him down and says, very good. Anger more useful than despair. So he took him from, grief and despair up into anger. That was more useful. Go be pissed off. Just don't sit there and cry. Anyway, I'm done talking. Who else wants to talk? Please come on out. And I would love to hear from you. Good to see you, Emma. All right. Any thoughts on prosperity today? Hopefully we've got many thoughts. Hey, Glenn's here as well. Glenn, live from Vegas. I don't see any hands. So you guys want to wrap up with that? Hopefully we're still live. Are we live? We are. Okay. Very good.
Yeah, we're still live, John.
Hey, Glenn, are you on location?
As a matter of fact, we are on location.
Fantastic. I can't see anything, but I can just, I see it now. Oh my goodness.
Hey, it's Paula.
Hey, Paula.
Hey, guys.
Wow.
We are on the spot. We are at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino in Vegas. And as you can see, we're all set for the occasion.
Wow. Well, you guys look great. Very festive. Very nice.
Absolutely.
We'll see you tonight for networking magic.
Yes, we'll check in on a little bit later on tonight and tell you who we've met.
Sounds good. All right. You enjoy yourself, my friend. Hi to Paula.
All right. Good to see you guys.
All right. See you later.
Right. I would like to have.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on thinking and being prosperous? Going once, going twice. Let's wrap up with that. It is so good to be here with you all, including my friend Nida, who is here with us live. I will see you on Networking Magic tonight. I do intend to actually be able to get there live. I have, believe it or not, I have a bit of a light day today. Yeah, I mean, 6 meetings back to back, but then I've got like a lunch break and stuff. Like, wow, I'm going to eat food and, do the whole, feed the body thing. So thank you guys again for being here. We'll see you all.
Thank you, John. It was amazing being here today.
Thank you, Nida.
Thank
All right.
you,
We'll see
John.